We are here at POWERGEN 2026. I'm over at the Langley booth, and I'm thrilled to be joined by Mr. Anthony Langley, who is the chairman and CEO of Langley Holdings. Anthony, great to connect with you.
Yeah, you too, Jerry. How are you?
I'm very well. So
Good.
we literally pulled you away from conversation. So I wanted to ask you, what are you talking to people about, and what are people asking you about here at the show?
Well, we're here with our Power Solutions division, which we're offering power solutions for data centers, principally for AI. There's an incredible demand at the moment for power for this AI gold rush that's happening right now, and there's just not enough grid availability. So that's not stopping anyone. They're just saying, okay, so let's look at behind the meter, and that's what we've got. We've got behind the meter solution right here.
Well, and that's come up in a big way. Questions about should it be in front of the meter, behind the meter? How has AI changed that? Because obviously data centers have been around, but the sheer volume that AI needs feels like it's changed the conversation.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the demand is off the scale, for power. Now, eventually the grid's going to catch up, but we're talking probably decades before that happens. The infrastructure's just not there. So the big five are turning to alternative behind the meter solutions, and AI is posing its own particular set of challenges. The load profiles of AI are off the scale to anything that we've seen in the data center world in the past.
Well, and it ties back to, your guys' slogan, we have the power, and there are how many people that are asking for and needing it. But can you talk a little bit about how you're able to provide that power in a holistic way? And I imagine so that customers aren't piecing solutions together and being able to use one thing, the one thing that you provide just simplifies things in a way that I imagine resonates.
Well, looking at it simplistically, a behind the meter solution is a large genset. That's what Bergen Engines produce. They produce large, medium speed engines, and these are not to be confused with high speed engines like Cat produce and an MTU. A typical Cat engine genset will weigh in at 25 tons. These guys are at 175 tons. They are big units, and they're 12.5 megawatts per unit. So that's our building block.
And how is that kind of power needed in a way that just plugging in batteries isn't going to be a solution like it might have been in the past?
No, batteries aren't a solution for baseload power. It's either turbines, and again, the turbine guys are pretty well sold out for 3 to 5 years. Or it's recip engines, or it's nuclear. But nuclear's, in my view, is a decade away at least.
Well, an even longer time scale.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it comes down to power for AI data centers is going to be behind the meter, with turbines and recip engines, and maybe some renewables.
Yeah, that everything solution, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. The reference plant that we've got here is a plant in that we commissioned in 2020 in Western Australia. It's 170 megawatts. It's working with 150 megawatts of solar. So the sun goes down, the engines start. The sun comes up, the engines close or shut down. It's a pretty neat solution. But that is powering a mine and a township in Western Australia, 150k from the nearest grid connection. It could be in West Texas powering a data center.
Wow. So when you mentioned some of the competitors that are out there. In your view, what sort of value are you providing that nobody else does? What's the biggest differentiator from your perspective?
Well, certainly the requirement of data centers is totally different to what the conventional power guys are familiar with. And in that, I include Bergen Engines. Typically, they'll be looking at 95% uptime on a baseload power application. The requirement of data centers, tier 4, is 5 nines, 99.999. And that's, if you work that out, that's less than 4 minutes a year. Now that is unheard of for the manufacturers of turbines and other gensets, recips. But the kind of third leg of our stool is Pillar, which is a German company that we've owned for just over 20 years now. And Pillar are the gold standard, if you like, of power conditioning. So the Pillar technology has largely been superseded in colo and hyperscale by battery static solutions, which are a lot cheaper. A Pillar solution is several times more expensive than the industry standard for colo. So where we find our Pillar business is in what I would call ultra mission critical. So this is government facilities, it's finance, and Pillar equipment is installed in the Federal Reserve, the New York Stock Exchange, government agencies, including the CIA. So that's where Pillar sits in the power conditioning business, the UPS business. What we found is that our AI load profiles are just so erratic, really spiky, and those transients are not being handled by batteries. The C rate of batteries, they just can't discharge and recharge quick enough. But the Pillar technology is based on inertia, so flywheels, and it just handles those transients without any trouble at all.
I mean, it speaks to the quality of the technology that you have in this solution. I know you guys bought the Rolls-Royce engine a few years ago. Can you talk a little bit about that and just the quality that is in this solution?
Well, Bergen Engines were kind of known as the Rolls-Royce of medium-speed engines before they were owned by Rolls-Royce, which, as I say, we bought that business in 2021, but they were owned by Rolls for 20 odd years, and they are, it's a Rolls-Royce product produced in Rolls-Royce quantities, so we're not a volume producer. This year we're ramping up to produce about 1 gigawatt of power. Next year 2 gigawatts, but that's in the scheme of things, that's not huge. But what we do have is we've packaged the basic technology that Pillar are very familiar with, and these ultra mission critical data center applications, because that is providing the protection against these AI transients that is causing everyone so much trouble right now. And it's also, when you have a power plant comprising 10, 20, 30 engines, you're going to take those engines on and offline, usually intentionally, possibly non-intentionally. But there's no secondary power here. With a grid connection, you've got a backup, typical configuration is backup diesel gensets. There's none of that here. And behind the meter, the resilience has to be much higher. So dealing with an engine, an engine could go offline unintentionally. Something needs to happen then so that the entire thing doesn't go down like dominoes. And that's what ShieldX does.
Well, and you've seen that the entire system, it's possible.
Oh yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, it's not intentional, but Uptime Institute Tier 4, 5 nines availability, you have to design resilience into the architecture of the power plant as well as the data center.
Yeah. Well, last question for you. Pretty much everybody that's at the event comes with one question top of mind, which is where can I find the power that I need? What are my options? What advice would you have for professionals as they sort through their power options?
Well, we're pretty much sold out for this year and next. We haven't released any build slots for 28 yet. We will be doing, and we're technology agnostic with our stabilization technology. What we've done with that is we've said we're not doing a custom solution here. We're taking the largest pillar units, we're packaging them as ShieldX, and we're not building those to order, we're building those to stock, and we're selling them from stock. So that ramp up is happening now. We're going to build 200 of them this year, and they are available for our power solutions, but also to anyone else. These power, and we're seeing a lot of interest in that from other behind the meter providers who are just starting to realize how problematic this AI load demand is.
Well, that might be the advice then. Plan now and make it happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Nice to meet you.